You feel invisible, like no one really knows you, like you could disappear and nobody would notice. This isn't just sadness. This is loneliness, the ache of being unseen. And most people try to fix it by reaching out, by calling someone, by being around people. But that doesn't work, because loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling unseen. Ibn Arabi understood this, and he had a practice that actually works. Here's what to do every time loneliness shows up. The first thing you need to understand is that loneliness is not solved by proximity. You can be surrounded by people, can still feel lonely. You can have conversations all day and still feel completely unseen. Because loneliness isn't about the absence of people. It's about the absence of real connection, the absence of being truly seen. And you can't get that from just being around others. You have to create it. And it starts not with reaching out, but with reaching in. Here's what Ibn Arabi taught. Every time loneliness shows up, don't run from it. Don't distract yourself. Don't immediately reach for your phone to scroll or text someone. Instead, do this. Sit with the loneliness. Feel it. And ask it one question. What part of me feels unseen? Not who isn't seeing me, but what part of me isn't being seen? Because loneliness is information. It's your soul telling you that some part of you is being hidden. Some part of you is being suppressed. Some part of you isn't being expressed. And that's what's causing the ache. Not the absence of people, but the absence of your own full presence. Think about it. When do you feel most lonely? It's usually when you're performing, when you're being who you think you should be instead of who you actually are. When you're in conversations where you can't say what you really think. When you're in relationships where you can't show what you really feel. When you're living a life that doesn't actually reflect your truth. That's when loneliness hits hardest. Not when you're alone, but when you're with people and still feel alone. Because they're not seeing the real you. They're seeing the version you're performing. And somewhere deep inside, you know that. And that knowing creates the ache. So the practice isn't to find more people. The practice is to find more of yourself. To bring forward the parts that have been hidden. To express what hasn't been expressed. To stop performing and start being real. And this is terrifying. Because the reason you've been hiding those parts is fear. Fear that if people see the real you, they'll reject you. They'll judge you. They'll leave. So you keep those parts hidden. And you perform a safer version. A more acceptable version. And then you wonder why you feel so lonely. Why even surrounded by people, you feel completely unseen. It's because you are unseen. Because you're not showing yourself. You're showing a performance. And performances can't be truly seen. They can only be watched. Ibn Arabi would tell you that the cure for loneliness is not connection with others. It's connection with yourself first. It's bringing forward what's been hidden. It's expressing what's been suppressed. It's allowing yourself to exist fully instead of partially. And when you do that, when you stop hiding and start showing up as yourself, two things happen. First, you feel less lonely immediately. Not because anyone else changed, but because you stopped abandoning yourself. You stopped leaving parts of yourself unseen. You started witnessing yourself. And that witnessing, that seeing yourself, eases the ache. Because loneliness at its core is self-abandonment. It's you not being present for you. It's you hiding from yourself. And when you stop hiding, when you come fully present to your own experience, the loneliness shifts. The second thing that happens is that real connection becomes possible. Because now you're not performing. You're being real. And real attracts real. When you show up authentically, the people who resonate with that authenticity find you. Not everyone. Not the people who liked your performance. But the people who see you and recognize something true. And that recognition, that being seen for who you actually are, that's real connection. That's the opposite of loneliness. Not just being around people, but being truly seen by them. And being truly seen is only possible when you're truly showing yourself. But here's the practice in specific steps. When loneliness hits, sit down. Don't distract. Don't reach for your phone. Just sit and feel the loneliness. Where is it in your body? Is it in your chest? Your throat? Your stomach? Feel it. Don't push it away. Just acknowledge it. This is loneliness. I feel it. And then ask the question, what part of me feels unseen right now? And wait, don't rush to answer. Just sit with the question and see what comes up. Maybe it's a feeling you've been hiding. Maybe it's a thought you haven't expressed. Maybe it's a desire you've been suppressing. Maybe it's a part of your personality you've been keeping quiet. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. This part of me has been hidden. This part of me hasn't been seen. And then, here's the crucial part. Find one small way to express that part today. Not to everyone. Not in every situation. Just one small expression. If you've been hiding your anger, express it in a safe way. Write it down. Say it out loud to yourself. If you've been hiding your creativity, create something. Even if it's terrible. Even if no one sees it. If you've been hiding your vulnerability, be vulnerable with one person. One honest statement. One real feeling. One moment of not performing. That's all. Just one small expression of what's been hidden. And notice what happens. The loneliness doesn't disappear completely, but it shifts. It loosens, because you're no longer abandoning that part of yourself. You're bringing it forward. You're allowing it to be seen, even if only by you at first. This is why Ibn Arabi said that loneliness is a teacher. It's not a problem to solve. It's information. It's showing you what needs to come forward, what needs to be expressed, what parts of you have been in hiding. And the more you listen to it, the more you use it as a guide to your own wholeness, the less power it has over you. You stop fearing loneliness because you know what to do with it. You know it's not about finding more people. It's about finding more of yourself, about bringing forward what's been left behind. But let's talk about what this doesn't mean. This doesn't mean you don't need people. This doesn't mean connection isn't important. This doesn't mean you should just sit alone forever working on yourself. It means you understand the order. First, connect with yourself. Acknowledge what's been hidden. Express what's been suppressed. And then, from that place of wholeness, from that place of being fully present to yourself, reach out to others. Connect with them. But now you're connecting as your full self, not as a performance, not as a partial version, as the whole you. And that kind of connection doesn't create loneliness. It eases it, because you're being seen for who you actually are, not for who you're pretending to be. And here's what Ibn Arabi discovered. The more you practice this, the less lonely you feel overall. Not because you have more friends, not because you're always surrounded by people, but because you're no longer abandoning yourself. You're no longer hiding parts of yourself and then feeling the ache of those hidden parts. You're bringing yourself forward. All of you. The good, the bad, the strange, the unacceptable. All of it. And when you do that, even when you're alone, you don't feel lonely. Because you're not alone. You're with yourself, fully. And that presence, that full self-presence, is the opposite of loneliness. Most people spend their lives running from loneliness. They fill every moment with noise, with people, with distractions, because they can't stand the feeling. And they think the solution is to never be alone, to always have plans, to always have someone to talk to. But that's not a solution. That's just avoidance. Because the loneliness is still there, underneath all the noise, underneath all the distraction. And the moment the noise stops, the moment they're alone, it comes roaring back. Because they never addressed it. They just covered it. But if you use loneliness the way Ibn Arabi taught, if you see it as information rather than a problem, if you ask it what needs to come forward and then actually bring it forward, something shifts. Loneliness becomes less frequent, less intense. And when it does show up, you know what to do. You don't panic. You don't reach for your phone. You sit with it. You ask what it's showing you. You find what needs to be expressed. And you express it. And slowly, over time, you become someone who's fully present to themselves. Someone who doesn't abandon parts of themselves for acceptance. Someone who shows up whole. And that wholeness, that full presence, that's what actually ends loneliness. Not connection with everyone, but connection with yourself. And from that connection, real connection with others becomes possible. So the next time loneliness hits, remember this. It's not telling you that you need more people. It's telling you that some part of you needs to be seen. And the first person who needs to see it is you. Sit with the feeling. Ask what part feels unseen. And find one small way to bring it forward. That's the practice. That's what you do every single time. Not complicated. Not long, just honest. Just real. Just you connecting with you. And from that connection, everything else becomes possible. Ibn Arabi would tell you that loneliness is not your enemy. It's your guide. It's showing you where you've been hiding, where you've been performing, where you've been abandoning yourself. And if you listen to it, if you follow what it's showing you, it will lead you back to yourself, back to wholeness, back to presence. And in that presence, loneliness loses its power, not because you've eliminated it, but because you've understood it. And understanding transforms everything.